Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name's Alicia and I'm a mum to 4 beautiful babies. In today's video I'm going to be talking to you about all the things that I wouldn't buy for my newborn after having 4 babies and what to buy instead. So buying baby items is literally a minefield. You are filled with so many recommendations and so many opinions. So I thought that I, as a mum of 4, would sit down and go through all the things that I wouldn't bother buying because I bought them and they were rubbish, and what to buy instead. So let's get to it. So my first item is reusable nappies. I feel a bit sad about putting this one on the list because I've bought them with all of my babies and I've hoped every single time that it would work out. But goodness me, reusable nappies are so much work. You have to use a liner in them, you have to wash them, you have to have like a separate wash bag, you have to buy so many of them to make sure that you have enough to last you, especially with a newborn because they go through so many nappies. And I also found that they often gave my newborn rashes. I just found it so hard to keep on top of. So reusable nappies are on my list, and instead I just use the Pampers nappies. Next on my list relates to this, so that is any off-brand nappies. Some of my friends swear by like Aldi nappies, Sainsbury's nappies. I have used almost all of the brands and I found that they just leak or they give my babies nappy rash. So for that first 4th trimester period, I always use Pampers. I found with all 4 of my babies that they are the best. They don't leak, or they don't often leak. They don't give them nappy rash. So I really would say just stick by on-brand nappies. They are more expensive, but to me they're definitely worth it. Next on my list is the Newbie Rapid Cool. So I do have everything that's on my list to hand because I've tried all of them. I have only used this twice. I just found it to be such a faff. It needs to be sterilised in between every use. I found it just really annoying to keep on top of, and if you want to go out for the day you need to have more than one. So when I bottle fed my 3rd baby, he was breastfed for like a small amount of time, I think 3 or 4 months, and then we moved over to a specialised formula. So he had a jar method where we would take out a flask of boiling water and a jar of cold boiled water, and it was so much easier. It would take maybe 30 seconds to make up his bottle of milk and it was all safe. This took so long, it had to be sterilised in between. I found it so inconvenient. The light on the top was all funny and sometimes it would work and sometimes it didn't. So to me this was just a total waste of money. And look into the jar method for making bottles if you are thinking, how will I make bottles when I'm out and about? Definitely look into that instead. Next on my list is the LV pump. I was devastated by this because it cost a pretty penny. I bought this about 2 years ago. I think it cost maybe £250, maybe £300. I can't even remember. I got it because it's wearable, so you can just pop it inside your bra and you can go on with your day. It has so many good things about it, but it leaks. So you will spend half an hour collecting all of your precious breast milk, especially if you're an undersupplier. And then if you tip over, all of the milk leaks out of the sides. So I would often be out and about collecting breast milk and I would bend over just ever so slightly and the whole thing would leak all down my top. It was an absolute nightmare. So I had to invest in, I think they're called like Strava or something like that. I had to invest in hiring a pump instead because this was just so impractical. I know that LV have since come out with like the LV Stride, but this has put me off of LV so much that I didn't even bother buying it. So if you are going to buy a wearable, I definitely wouldn't recommend this one. Instead I would look at Medela. I have a Medela breast pump and it's amazing. It's portable and definitely doesn't leak like this one. Next on my list is a Buggy from Bugaboo, which is so unusual because I love all Bugaboo buggies, but it is the Bugaboo Bee. I thought that this Bugaboo Bee was going to be amazing because it's small and it can fold up really compact, like the butterfly or like the yo-yo, but you don't have to have like a separate bit for a newborn. You can just put the bassinet on. So I thought it was lovely and it was so aesthetic, and I love the fact that you could almost personalise it. But unfortunately, when you fold the seat, it often collapses in on itself, and the wheels are so small that they can't handle any terrain at all. So if you're going out somewhere that has has maybe stones or pebbles or even grass, the wheels just get stuck and you are literally pushing the buggy for dear life. When you have a newborn in there, you want some sort of stability, otherwise the newborn is like rocking around in the buggy. So I definitely don't recommend a Bugaboo B. Instead, I would look at a Bugaboo Donkey, which is what we currently have now, a Bugaboo Fox. They are amazing. They are much more hardy, they can handle terrain, and if you're looking for a more compact one, I know that they have just come out with the Butterfly, but I have not tried that myself, so I would avoid the Bugaboo B and look at the Bugaboos that have slightly bigger wheels for better terrain and better stability for your baby. So next on my list is any kind of bibs like this for a newborn. They are so unnecessary. I bought so many of these because they are so aesthetic. They look really cute, but you don't use them. They get stuck around their necks and all of the silicone gets stuck in their rolls and makes them quite sore. So I really don't recommend these. Instead, just have a small burp cloth on hand for when you're feeding. There really is no reason for them to have these around their necks, and they really get in the way and annoy them. So I would recommend having one of the small little muslin cloths and just wiping their mouth every now and then. I have always bought these just in case, and I've never ever used them, so that's why they're on my list of things that I wouldn't bother buying. So next on my list is baby mittens. I can't actually find any to show you. I just don't think we have any anymore, but they're something that's always gifted to us when we have a baby, but they are, I don't know if I've ever used them. The main reason why is because almost all sleep suits have them built in. So if you don't know, on a sleep suit they have this extra piece of fabric and you just turn it over and it turns into a baby mitten. So you really don't need to use like separate mittens, and if anything, baby will be able to pull them off. So they will put them in their mouths as they do and om nom nom on them, and they will slowly keep coming off and you'll have to keep putting them back on anyway. So just make sure that you keep on top of trimming baby's nails, and also ensure that you buy sleep suits that have the mittens over the top, and there's no need to have spare mittens lying around that you can't find pairs for. This is a much easier and more practical way. Again, on my list to do with clothes is popper baby grows. I do have some popper baby grows because I've seen them and they were very cute designs, but really they are so unpractical, especially for middle of the night feedings. I much prefer baby grows that have a zip. So they literally zip up and down like this, and they are so much easier than all the poppers. When it's 2 AM, it's pitch black and you're trying to match up poppers and they don't all match up. It's a nightmare. So just having a zip, it has another zip on the bottom so that you can just unzip for easy access to the nappy. You don't need to take the whole thing off, and if baby has had a punami, you can just take this off so quickly and re-zip a new one up, and it takes a matter of minutes. I found with poppers that I was popping and they weren't adding up, and I would have a spare popper and I'd have to start the whole thing again. So definitely look at getting zipper sleep suits. They are so helpful and so handy and such a good invention. Next is baby nappy caddies. Now I see these advertised all the time on my Instagram. I've had 4 babies. I've owned one caddy before. It was so unorganized in there, so I actually just recommend having a basket that you can carry around your house with you. In here I usually have nappies, wipes, a dummy, some cream, some pads, I have sprays and things like that, and I just carry it around the house with me, and everything can be thrown in. There's no need to be slotting it all into different pieces, because being realistic with a caddy, it's never going to stay organized when you have a newborn. So I think a basket is much easier access, and everyone can just throw things in and you can just pull them out. There's no need to buy the really expensive caddies. This cost maybe £2-3 from Primark, and I have a few over the house. Definitely better than a caddy. Next on my list is something that I just mentioned, which is vitamin D. I used to use vitamin D drops. So if you breastfeed your baby, you do need to give them vitamin D, which you'll probably be told by your midwife or your health visitor. I was using vitamin D drops for the longest time. Trying to give a newborn baby vitamin D drops is so hard. So I found this vitamin D spray on Amazon. What an invention. You literally spray it into their mouths. You just pull their chin down and spray it in, and that's their dose for the day. It is amazing and such a helpful invention. So no more messing around with the drops, and you'll know with the drops you need to have like a whole syringe, and it's like quite a lot of liquid for a baby to swallow. So one spray, it takes 2-3 seconds. Amazing invention. Don't bother with a dropper, get a spray instead. My last item that I would say don't bother buying is one of the mouth thermometers for a baby. They often come in like the cute little baby care sets, like the first aid kits that you buy. They are so impractical when you have a newborn. You cannot hold a thermometer in their mouth for long before they get very, very cross at you and then their mouth is open because they are crying. Instead, we have one of these head thermometers. Oh, it's got a bit of hair on it, gross. We have one of these head thermometers and you just pop it up on baby's head, press the button and it tells you their temperature. This is a medical grade one, so it was quite expensive, but it's definitely an investment and we use it with all of our children and I'm sure it will last us for years and years. It takes seconds rather than minutes of fighting with a baby with a like hold one that you have to hold in their mouth. So I would say don't bother with an oral thermometer. Instead, get a head one and you can just measure on their skin and it's so helpful. So I hope that you found this video helpful for you for things that you don't need to bother buying and what to use instead. I've had 4 babies, as I've said, so I've definitely got the experience behind me in terms of buying lots and lots of things and not using them, and what a waste of money I have spent. So I really hope this helps you. If it does, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and if you can think of something that I haven't included in this video, please leave it below. If you're a mum or dad and you're thinking, you know, new parent, don't bother buying this, leave it in a comment below for someone else to see. We're all in this motherhood journey together. I hope you enjoyed watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.